Go to it.
So it's funny. Yesterday, a patient had asked me, "What do you specialize in, Dr. Gonzalez?" And I answered, answered my usual, my credentials and all that. And then he said, "Yeah, but what do you specialize in? What do you do?" And um, and I realized what he meant and what people mean when they ask, "What do you specialize in?" Sure, I can rant off all of my. I went to the University of Arizona College of Medicine. I studied under there at the University of Arizona. I studied under the auspices of a Dr. Andrew Weil. And I was one of the original 5 students that went into the Integrative School of Medicine there 30 years ago. But I was the black sheep, and I stepped away from that. I could talk about my years as trauma. I did trauma and emergency medicine for years. I was in the military for 24 years, active duty, practiced medicine in the military, trauma and emergency medicine. My background prior to that was genetics. So I studied genetics. Yes, I'm a geek, a proud geek. For a year and a half, I studied one single molecule. So that's the geekiness in me. I love that part. I studied medical nutrition prior to medicine as well. Did the military thing, like I said, deployed a few times. And after my last deployment in Iraq, I decided, okay, I'm done with trauma, done with emergency medicine. But even in trauma and emergency medicine, I was the doctor that talked about medical nutrition. I was the doctor that talked about how nutrition is important in the healing and the aging process, that should be the focus. After that, I trained and did a lot of work in metabolic repair, otherwise known as obesity medicine. So I studied obesity medicine, again, with the background in medical nutrition, medical genetics. So what do I specialize in? Well, I specialize in the care of the aging individual from the perspective of metabolic repair. And that's one of the mistakes that we make in medicine, is that we talk about treating people when we should be talking about the prevention of disease instead of the treatment of disease. So my practice is in Silver Spring, Maryland. It's Atlantis Medical Wellness Center, where I practice functional medicine. This is all under the auspices of functional medicine. The idea that each system in your body doesn't work by itself. We treat, for example, thyroid disease as if it's just one disease process, or that it's just one system. We don't realize that everything else attaches to that system. Your pancreas works with your thyroid. Your hypothalamus works with your thyroid. Your brain works with your gut. Your gut works with your brain. And your gut is a big part of your immune system. Everything is tied together. And that's what functional medicine is. So what do I specialize in? I specialize in functional medicine. Does that make sense to everybody? There you go. Okay, so that's my background. I'm the medical director of Atlantis Medical Wellness Center. And what I wanted to talk today about, one of the most common things, one of the most common issues with the aging population is polypharmacy. The idea that people are taking bags of pills, bags of supplements, bags of medication. And us doctors are usually the culprit. We tend to, if you come to us with a problem, we have 15 minutes to fix it. And the easiest way to fix it is to write a prescription. Okay, you have this problem, here's your prescription for that problem. Oh, this lab shows that your thyroid's a problem, or that you have blood sugar issues. Well, here's the medication for you. And so I'm guessing that most of you listening are taking at least one medication or one supplement, at least. Is everybody muted, by the way? If I ask a question, can I get like a hand raise? Is there a hand raise?
Yeah.
During this?
Okay.
All right, great. Because I came up with this morning I was thinking, some quick survey questions. So how many people on this? Well, I guess I don't want to get into. So I'm guessing that most people are on more than a few supplements or more than a few medications. So and let's talk about why that happens. In medicine, we tend to want to treat everything and want to fix everything that comes in front of us. And we have a short period of time to do that, us MD physicians, us medical providers. We tend to want to fix everything. What's our number one mistake that us doctors make? The number one mistake that us doctors make is that we think we're right. That's the number one mistake. It is, it's true. I make that mistake. Everybody makes that mistake. All providers make that mistake. We think we're right. And so with that mentality, we bring into that short encounter. We have 10, 15 minutes to take care of this patient that's in front of us, this individual in front of us that has a problem. And remember what I said earlier about functional medicine, problems or systems in your body they don't work by themselves, but we treat each system by themselves. So we come up with some sort of answer, whether it be a prescription or a procedure or a supplement. And we tend to add and stack these supplements and stack these medications one on top of another. And then if you have a side effect, what do? We do one of two things. We either tell you to stop that medication or supplement that caused the side effect and we add another, or we treat with some other medication or supplement on top of that medication. We give you another medication to treat that side effect. So make a long story short, what happens at the end of the day, the end of the year, the end of a decade, is that people walk into my clinic with multiple supplements and multiple medications. And that's a common problem in the aging population. So we're going to narrow down this discussion from medications to supplements, because we could talk all day about medications and different medications. But I was asked to talk about the perspective of supplements, since my one of my specialties in my background, my study, what I researched at NIH was antioxidant. I did antioxidant research at NIH years ago. And let's jump. I'm going to jump ahead and talk about what is the number one most neglected micronutrient. Somebody tell me, what's the number one most neglected micronutrient, especially in the aging population? And go ahead and unmute yourself and give some answers.
Iron.
Okay, iron. That's a good guess.
Yeah, vitamin D.
That's definitely a neglected supplement or neglected micronutrient. Anyone else?
Vitamin C and vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Great. Those are all great answers and neglected micronutrient.
Calcium.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites, actually. One of my favorite.
Selenium.
Ooh, I just like saying that word.
Did you say unobtainium?
Yeah, selenium.
Oh, selenium. I just said molybdenum. So actually, the number one micronutrient that's neglected is magnesium. It's magnesium. It's the number one neglected micronutrient, neglected mineral. And we think of calcium as the number one for women, especially, right? Vitamin D has a lot of there's big popularity because of. Do you know why vitamin D became popular about 10 years ago? It's only one reason. Because Dr. Oprah talked about vitamin D on her show. That's the number one reason why vitamin D became so popular, because Dr. Oprah mentioned it on her show with Dr. Oz, and they talked about the importance of it. And that was about 10 years ago. Even though I've been talking about vitamin D as a hormone for over 20 years, Dr. Weil over 30 years talking about vitamin D and its importance. But there's a lot of misconceptions about these types of micronutrients, and I'm going to be talking about that. But let's get back to magnesium for a moment. Magnesium is actually the number one neglected micronutrient. Why is that? It turns out we're so focused on treating things in medicine. And let's talk about this in the perspective of women, men as well. Just want to make this real clear. This affects men as well. But in women, we tell you that, you're going to develop osteoporosis later on in the year, so you should start taking calcium. So what happens when you take extra calcium? You take extra calcium, and I'm guessing that most of you are on calcium. Some of you are at least on calcium. Your doctors have told you to take calcium or some sort of calcium supplement to help prevent osteoporosis. Or if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, you're told to take calcium, along with vitamin D and other things, but calcium being the focus. So what happens with calcium when you ingest it? It absorbs in your body and it floats around in the bloodstream. What's the #1 killer for women and men in the United States?
Heart disease.
Heart disease. What causes heart disease?
Plaque,
Much
calcium
in the
buildup.
blood.
Calcium buildup in the arteries, but we blame it on cholesterol. So the 3 big things are in heart disease is inflammation, plaque buildup, and calcium buildup. So if you have all this free floating calcium in the bloodstream, is it going straight to your bones and depositing in the bones?
Oh.
Or no, what's it doing? It's free floating around, and it's deciding if you're aging and you've got inflammation and you got some plaque buildup, what's it doing? It's depositing into the arterial walls. Yes, some of it is getting into your helping your bones, but what it's mostly doing, its primary reason for doing that. I'm sorry, it's the first thing it does is deposit in your arteries, in your arterial walls. Now, if you have inflammation, that's more of a problem. If you have insulin resistance or blood sugar issues, that escalates the problem. And so we take this extra calcium, floats in the body, it deposits in the artery, but we don't think about that. Why does osteoporosis, now this is a loaded question. Why does osteoporosis occur? Why does bone disease occur? Well, it usually occurs because your body is fighting. It's fighting hard to keep the pH of your bloodstream to a very specific narrow range. And how does it do that? So you have inflammation, you get the oxidative process, you get the acidic, your blood becomes acidic or it wants to become acidic, but it's trying not to because your body's fighting to keep your pH at a certain range. How does your body fix the pH, the acidity in your bloodstream? How does it do that? What is one of the major mechanisms for it to do that? It takes calcium from the bones, that positive calcium ion, to help bring that pH up in the bloodstream. So it steals calcium from your bones to do that. So you have inflammation, you're aging, and as we all age, we have inflammation. Maybe we're not eating perfectly. Stress, all the oxidative processes that bring the pH down, that bring up acidity, that escalate the oxidative processes in the body. You're stealing calcium from your bones. You're taking extra calcium. What's happening to the arterial walls? That's right. That's why it's called a calcium score when we look for heart disease in certain tests. So we're looking at calcium. So you're taking extra calcium. It turns out the best way to attenuate that, to avoid that process from happening, is magnesium. And so magnesium in the body actually helps attenuate that oxidative process. It helps bring down the pH. And the problem is, in our general diet, in our aging population, magnesium is one of the things that's depleted in our food sources. So we have a depletion of magnesium in food sources. We think we're eating right. We're taking extra calcium. You're aging. We have inflammation, maybe a little overweight, maybe not sleeping right, and what's happening to your bones. Now, there's more to osteoporosis and calcium metabolism and magnesium metabolism than what I just said, but I'm giving you an idea of what happens in the body when we focus too much on one thing, and that is taking extra calcium to treat a disease process. We got to be thinking about these other things, because there's another powerful part of your system that plays a powerful role in your body that helps with not just osteoporosis, but prevention of cancers, prevention of bone disease, prevention of muscular depletion, prevention of weakness, and that is your hormones. We ignore hormones, especially in women. I'm going to talk a little bit about that towards the end. when I talk about gender bias. So, okay, that's the number one micronutrient missing. Now, the next mistake that we make in medicine and in our advice to patients is, now, let's say I walk away from this discussion right now, walk away from it. You get this, hey, Dr. Gonzalez taught me that magnesium, I need to take extra magnesium. So what's the next mistake we make? We go out and we buy magnesium. That's right. So you go out and you buy magnesium. Is magnesium the same? Is one magnesium the same as another, another? No. The most common magnesium, and how do we choose supplements, by the way? When you go to the store, how do you choose supplements? This is how you choose supplements. Right. Tell me I'm wrong. You look at the prettiest bottle that's inexpensive. What's pretty and what is expensive? Oh, and I remember that pharmacist on the TV who said, this is the one you're supposed to take because I believe this is the one you're supposed to take. So marketing, how pretty the bottle is and how inexpensive it is. That's how we choose supplements. That is not how you should be choosing supplements, because magnesium is not magnesium is not magnesium. There's different types of magnesium. The most common and least expensive magnesium out there is magnesium oxide. It's a salt of magnesium. So there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt you. It's the one that helps clear your gut, helps your gut with gut health. The problem with magnesium oxide, and if you look at your bottle of magnesium, everybody, for most of you who are buying it on your own, you flip the side, you flip on the other side of it, you'll see it says magnesium oxide. That's the most common one that's out there that people purchase. The problem with that is that it doesn't absorb in your gut, especially if, let's say you have a healthy gut. Most people don't have healthy guts, but let's say you have a healthy gut. Even with a healthy gut, some of it gets absorbed, but not all of it goes to where it belongs in the body, to the thyroid, the brain, the muscles, the joints, the bones. And that's a problem with magnesium oxide. What the kind of magnesium you need to take. So people run out, they buy magnesium, and they say they're taking magnesium, but they're actually not taking the proper magnesium. The proper magnesium to take, and this is my point I want to make on this number one micronutrient that's neglected, is a chelated form of magnesium. That's chelated with a CH. Chelated means that this magnesium ion, I don't know if you can see me, there we go, my black background, there we go. The magnesium ion is surrounded by an amino acid. Most people know what an amino acid is. An amino acid is the building block of protein. But what that amino acid does with that magnesium ion is it absorbs easier in the gut, even in an unhealthy gut. It absorbs easier in an unhealthy gut, and it gets to different parts of the body a lot easier. Its bioavailability, its ability to reach different parts of your body is increased. So one of the people who get cramps, muscle cramps, in the aging population, we see that a lot. We think of, oh, potassium, it's about potassium, eat bananas. Actually, that's not true. And it's not about the level either in your blood. It's mostly about magnesium. So a little bit of chelated magnesium goes a long way in helping with headaches and helping with sleeping and helping with, it's over 300 enzymatic processes that magnesium plays a role in. But anyway, magnesium helps, the chelated form of magnesium reaches your body. And now the next, a lot easier. Now the next mistake that we make is how much to take. And I take one magnesium, or I take two magnesiums. You want to look for a chelated form, and the best way to take magnesium is to take one capsule. I'm not going to give you a milligram dosage because there's different milligram doses depending on the type of magnesium, but one capsule in the morning and two capsules right before bedtime is the most ideal way to take magnesium. And that's just a general advice in this forum that I can give. Now, the best way to another mistake that us doctors make, and the best way to advise someone to take magnesium is to do what? Anybody?
Blood work.
Measure the dang thing, right? So we take all these supplements, we don't measure anything. Do you take cholesterol medicine randomly just to help your cholesterol? Or do you take cholesterol medication? Do I write prescriptions for cholesterol medication based on just some random discussion or how I feel? Or do we base it on objective numbers? We base on objective numbers. Well, that's the same for magnesium. Now, the mistake that us doctors make, and this is not your fault, and this is something good to write down. The mistake that we make is that we hang our hat up on a serum, what's called the serum magnesium levels. And we say, oh yeah, your magnesium is fine. Well, it turns out by the time a serum magnesium level gets low, you've been low for multiple years. You've been low for a significant reason, and you've been low. And that if we're waiting for that, we're not talking about prevention. We're talking about treatment. It turns out and write this down, the most sensitive blood test for magnesium levels in the body is a red blood cell magnesium level, or Mg-RBC. So when you go to your primary doctor, or you want to ask them, hey, can you, I'd like you to check my magnesium levels. Can you check, and write this down, can you check the magnesium RBC level? And that's the most sensitive way to catch an early issue with your magnesium levels in your body. And make sure you don't take any magnesium for 24 hours prior to your blood draw. I'm harping on one micronutrient. There's a million micronutrients we talk about, but I'm harping on one because this is a good example of multiple other issues with all different kinds of micronutrients. And by the way, there's another mistake that us doctors make when it comes to these levels, whether it be magnesium, hormones, or any other levels. And that is, we look at what's called the reference range that's given to us from the lab, the results. We look at the reference range and we say, okay, it doesn't fall in this range, that means it's bad. It falls in this range, that means it's good. That's actually a mistake. The reference range in any lab that's given to you, for the most part, is a good reference. But most people take it, and most doctors take it as normal. That's what's normal. It should be normal. What should be optimal. And in most instances, it's true, but in some instances, it's not. And magnesium is a good example of that. How we get reference ranges in lab results is that they take the general population, the results of the general population in your area, and they average that, and they call that the reference range. If your average population is sick, is that the range you want to be in? If the average population is obese, is that the range you want to be in? No. And I make that emphasis, I apologize for the face, but I make that emphasis because it's a mistake that us doctors make. And it's hard for you to manage that because that takes years of experience and understanding what's optimal versus what's average. And it's not for every, and most reference ranges are okay to look at, but many are not. And magnesium is one of those examples. I like to keep that reference range, and I'm not teaching medicine here, but I'm just giving you an idea of what I like to keep the reference range for. Red blood cell magnesium level between 5.8 and 6.8. That's the optimal range I like to keep my patients. That'll help prevent osteoporosis. It'll help all those other 300 enzymatic processes in the body that magnesium helps with. So I use that example to talk about all sorts of other different types of micronutrients in the body. Now, there's another mistake. What's the number one? There's another mistake that we make in choosing a supplement. We choose supplements. How else do you choose supplements? How the general population choose supplements is if it's good for you. That's how we choose it, right? Oh, something is good for me. That means I need it. Well, that's actually a mistake. Just because something is good for you doesn't mean you actually need it. Because if you started taking everything that was good for you, milk thistle for liver, CoQ10 for heart disease, if you start to resveratrol, turmeric, you start adding all these, if you start taking all these different things that's supposedly good for you, you'll end up taking a bucket full of supplements. So just because something is good for you doesn't mean you need it. And that's an important concept because we get beat up, especially in the aging population. We get beat up in marketing. This person says this supplement's good for you. That person says this supplement's good for you. The best way to manage that is to find either a functional medical nutritionist who understands a systems biology approach to your health, or a functional medicine physician, or of any physician. Functional medicine is a general term. A physician who understands that your body doesn't work, each system in your body doesn't work by itself. If you can find someone who understands medical nutrition, then you can start understanding what you actually need and what you don't need. Another a common mistake, or a common supplement that people take is resveratrol for antioxidant purposes. And the problem with taking these different supplements that might be good for you is that they have negative side effects. A lot of these supplements have negative side effects that aren't obvious. They don't cause headaches. They don't cause diarrhea. They don't cause leaky butt, like some of the things you see. They don't cause all these different things, but there are side effects that are more subtle. One of the side effects of resveratrol is it changes the way your liver processes your medications, processes the toxins in the foods that you eat. So if you're changing your liver's ability to do that, taking a supplement that's supposedly good for you, then there are long-term consequences for that are subtle and that are hard to reverse. So that's an important concept to understand as well. I have a device in my lab at the clinic that actually measures your antioxidant levels. So this device is a laser device that I used years ago at NIH. Used to cost $1,400 to test somebody's antioxidant levels once. But I have a device that costs basically, I don't know, like $5, $10 to test your antioxidant levels. So if you're testing your antioxidant levels, then you can manage how you're taking your supplements to bring up your antioxidant levels. You test your cholesterol, right? You got to test these other things too. So that's another point I wanted to make is objective numbers are important in understanding how to take your supplements and medications. Side effects, I already talked a little bit about that. Supplements have side effects. I'm looking at my notes here that I took this morning. The number one mistake, it's another one of my favorites. Number one mistake that we make in medicine is we say there are gold standards or that this study proves that issue. There's no such thing as a study proving anything at all. When you hear some expert or a true expert on the internet or on TV, or you hear someone like me speaking and we say, this study proves this issue, you can immediately start backing off away from that discussion because there is no such thing as a study proving anything. The purpose of medical studies is to support evidence for theories. We don't prove anything in medical studies. And I'll make that really clear. What we do, however, in medical studies is that we provide evidence for supporting theories. Great example in your face is gravity. Everybody thinks that gravity is a proven thing. It hasn't been proven. There is no such thing as that gravity is a proven, it has a proof. There are studies that support that gravity exists. About 4 years ago, a couple studies came out that said, yeah, we're getting close to proving gravity, but this is an important concept. So don't take what us physicians say as a solid evidence for the rest of your life. This is how things work. This is the way it is. I want to make that really clear. But what we do for you, what in medicine, as medical providers, what we do for you is help guide you. We are your guides in moving forward in your individualized health. So you have to make up your mind for yourself, but I need you to understand that don't get misled by marketing or by Dr. Oprah or Dr. Internet or Dr. Google. Understand that you do need a guide that's knowledgeable in a functional approach to your medications and supplements. So those are the concepts I want to make. I know my time is limited. So I wanted to switch gears here and talk a little bit about gender bias in medicine. And this applies to you men that are on here as well. Gender bias is that idea that we ignore women in medicine. And it's true. We definitely 100% ignore women in medicine. I mean, to the point where it's absolutely ridiculous. If you haven't read any of my blogs, and I use the word ridiculous in its purest sense. If you haven't read my blogs, I wrote a little blog on my website. If you go to my website, it's www.atlantismedcenter.com. You go all the way to the bottom. It's atlantismedcenter.com. Go all the way to the bottom. You see these itty bitty words at the bottom. There's a link that says blog, or in the middle somewhere, there's latest news with Dr. Gonzalez or Dr. G's latest news. On last Monday, I wrote a little blog, it's a short one, a couple paragraphs about gender bias in women. I talk about how gender bias is so ingrained that there, even in studies, did you know that women weren't allowed to participate in medical studies, and even all the way up until 1992 when I was in medical school.
Wow.
Right. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. In 1984, there was a study published on uterine and breast cancer, and all the participants were men out of New York.
Wait a minute.
How does that work?
Medical school.
Yeah, how does that work?
Wait a minute.
I'm not kidding. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm not kidding. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds so ridiculous. How could we in medicine do this? But we did. And it's that kind of ridiculous. Gender bias is real in medicine. And the sad part about gender bias, and the scary part, is that we are all moving towards artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is based on the studies that we've done in the past. So gender bias is being built into artificial intelligence in medicine. And that's even more scary, because 100 years ago, the average lifespan of a woman was 52 years old. If you're a woman of color, it was much less. It was 44, I believe. So 52 years old was the average lifespan of a woman about 100 years, a little over 100 years ago. That's when we decided that women stopped living. And we've been that way ever since in medicine, that you're done at 52. Now I can hear the anger I can hear it. I can smell it through Zoom. And we think women are done, and I am not exaggerating. We think in medicine that women are done at 52, and you know this. I know you know this, because at 52, as you go through menopause, what do we do with you? We either throw a synthetic hormone at you, or worse, we fix your problems with Prozac.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So and there's actual, in the GYN literature, there's actual studies that say, hey, Prozac helps soothe the woman's menopause symptoms, and it's true.
We're on the head.
Absolutely.
Hysteria?
It's a Band-Aid that covers it's a Band-Aid that temporarily covers a woman's issues. I'm pretty sure that most of you are going to be living another 30 more years at least, if not 40. And that's 40 years of viable health that we're talking about. And we ignore that in medicine. Because we tell you that if you take hormones, that it's going to cause cancer. We say those words to you based on a study published in 2003, Women's Health Initiative, that we tell you taking hormones causes cancer. And that 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, that was a mistake. Today, it's a lie. We know that it's a lie. It's a partial truth, but it's a bald-faced lie if I, as a physician, tells you that hormone replacement therapy causes cancer, because we know in the literature and we know in practice that that's not true. And in fact, hormones can help prevent certain cancers, including breast cancer, colon cancer, and uterine cancer. So, I mean, this is a general statement. I know you got all sorts of questions about that because you've been hearing. What I want to cause here is cognitive dissonance, is that like, wait, my doctor told me that it causes cancer. I shouldn't be taking it, but you're telling me it's preventing cancer. I want to cause that. I'm not going to answer all your questions today about this, but I want to cause that issue so it helps you look at things. But it's true. And think about it, and it makes sense. At 22 years old, your estrogen levels were up here. Your testosterone as a woman, your testosterone levels up here. Your progesterone is fluctuating back and forth. You're all up here. Why were you not riddled with cancer then? Well, maybe it's because it's a natural process, and the natural balance of your natural hormones is what we're talking about, not the synthetic hormones that we prescribe in medicine, usually prescribed in medicine. Because one of the true statements is that progestin, the hormone for progesterone, the synthetic hormone for progesterone, does cause, especially when given with estrogen, does cause breast cancer. We know that for sure out of that 2003 study. The problem is the translation, the transcription of what happened in that study is that we say that all hormones cause cancer, when in fact it's a certain types of synthetic hormones in a combination in a certain woman that causes cancer. And the translation is this, and this is really sad. This is part of the gender bias, and it's really a sad fact, is that progestin and progesterone are two different molecules. Progestin is the synthetic progesterone, and progesterone is actually the molecule in your body. What happens is in the medical literature, and I give many examples of this in my lectures to other doctors, to physicians, is that those two terms are intermixed. And they're just there are two separate molecules, but we intermix those terms. In the medical literature, we call progestin progesterone. And so that gets translated into, okay, all progesterones cause cancer, and that's just simply not true. And in fact, it can help prevent cancers, certain cancers, hormone replacement therapy. So we use hormone replacement therapy to help treat symptoms, right? Menopause, so those women who have significant menopause issues, sleep issues, vaginal dryness, low libido, we throw them at them. But when in fact, that's not how we should be prescribing these hormones. I mean, it's important. We want you to feel better. Yes. But we also want to prevent disease. Did you know that as you age, women are at higher risk than men for Alzheimer's, to develop Alzheimer's? Did you know that? Women, as we age, and men, our risk for Alzheimer's actually decrease as we age. Do you know why? It has to do with the hormone estrogen. It turns out estrogen helps prevent Alzheimer's. Among other things, this is that's a single discussion about this hormone, but estrogen helps prevent Alzheimer's. So one of the reasons why I prescribe bioidentical or the natural estrogen for women as through menopause is to help prevent Alzheimer's and memory issues. It also helps all sorts of other things: bone disease, osteoporosis, vision issues, vaginal dryness, pain, chronic pain, headaches, things like that. All the estrogen prevents all those different things. But the bottom line, one of the reasons why I prescribe estrogen to perimenopausal, postmenopausal women is to help their symptoms, yes, but to also help prevent certain diseases. It also helps prevent breast cancer. Men, the reason why men's decrease is because as we age, what happens to our estrogen? You men, our estrogen actually increases as we age. And yes, men need estrogen. There are a lot of men out there, and this is part of the gender bias for men, a lot of men out there who take anti-estrogen supplements or medications, and it turns out they're increasing the risk for Alzheimer's doing that. This is the reason why these ball players, I have professional ball players in my practice, professional athletes, and those athletes that come in for the first time, they're usually on some sort of anti-estrogen because they think that'll make them more of a man, right? Taking anti-estrogen, when in fact, what they're doing is they're increasing the risk for Alzheimer's. And there are other reasons, head injuries, things like that. My military patients with a lot of head injuries. The reason for the head injury, one of the reasons why head injuries cause these types of issues is because of disruption in the hormone management in the body. Head injuries causes hormone mismanagement in the body. That's one of the reasons why those issues. So I wanted to touch on gender bias a little bit to let you know that we ignore women in medicine and that you need to be your own advocate. If you're having issues, whether it be obesity, whether it be menopause, whether it be an acute issue like pregnancy, that's an acute issue, right? we tend to treat you like little men, like smaller men, when in fact you have a separate physiology. You do not process medications the same way men do. You do not react to medications the same way men do. Men, you don't react to certain medications or hormones the way women do. But yes, women need certain hormones like testosterone. Men need certain hormones like estrogen. But a lot of us doctors and in our current medical system, we don't think that way. We don't practice that way. The single best example of that is my wife, my beautiful wife. Single best example of this. By the way, where did I learn all this stuff? Did I learn it from Dr. Andrew Weil? Did I learn it at the University of Arizona? Did I learn it in residency? Did I learn it in trauma? I did not. I learned it from the mistakes I made with my sister, my mother, my wife, all my female patients over the years. And it didn't make sense to me earlier on in my medical career that some of the things that I was being taught for women, it just didn't make sense. And with time, I realized how wrong I was with certain things and how I was taught. So my wife, the best example, she's a great, beautiful, in shape, active vegetarian most of her life since she was a teenager, vegetarian, who had her first heart attack at the age of 38. Why did this vegetarian in great shape, highly active, some of you may know her, she's a TV personality. You see her on TV, it's like you just see this active, beautiful woman who has heart disease at the age of 38 as a vegetarian, who had a couple of specialists taking care of her before her heart attack, gastroenterologist, pulmonologist, because we treated her like a man with all the symptoms that she had prior. Nobody has a heart attack in one day. You had the heart attack years before you had the heart attack. So she was ignored. She was treated like a woman. How could a young vegetarian have heart disease? So they ignored that part and they treated her upset stomach, her pulmonary issues, and she even had specialists for that. When it turned out those symptoms were actually symptoms of her heart disease. So you can imagine at 38, when she had her heart attack, she had a cardiologist, a wonderful cardiologist, a female cardiologist. In fact, the president of the American Cardiology Association, the Women's American Cardiology Association, was her doctor. Wonderful doctor, fantastic doctor, took care of her heart beautifully, but forgot about the rest of her. I met her 4 years after her heart attack, and it turned out that, I kind of liked her when I met her. I decided, I put her through my workups and realized that she was on 4 different cardiac medications at such a young age. It turns out there were some things that were ignored in her testosterone levels, her hormone levels that protect her heart, her certain micronutrients that she was totally depleted on that were ignored or that were not managed. So with time, I managed those things. She's off of all her cardiac drugs, and that sounds great, but I'm not telling you she's off all medication. She's off her cardiac medications that she was on at that time, but she's on the right medications as a woman for supporting not only her heart, but all the rest of her body that supports her heart, that supports her brain, her thyroid, her physiology. So it's a metabolic repair approach, a functional medicine approach to her, and she's in great shape. She is doing very well. Her cardiac function is better now than it was when she was on those cardiac medications. And I got all sorts of stories to tell you about when we went in front of the cardiologists, when she had her last catheter, and they looked at her last catheter report and said, "Wait, this might be wrong because it's so good." Yeah. So great example as my sister. My wife. Another great example is my own mother, who at most of her life weighed nearly 300 pounds. Me growing up, I knew her as a 260, 270, 300 pound loving mother. Had a gastric bypass in the 70s when we only did about 5,000 a year. She had a gastric bypass, lost a lot of weight. And then after, she lost about 140 pounds in a period of 18 months. Didn't have survived the gastric bypass in the late 70s. And then what happened for 5 years after? She gained all the weight back, of course. And then for 2-3 decades after that, us doctors put on every single medication you could think of, every single diet you could think of. And she yo-yoed 100 pounds up, 50 pounds down, 30 pounds up, 60 pounds down. And unfortunately, and she was put on the medication called fen-phen. You guys remember fen-phen? Yeah. From the day it went out in 1992 to the day it was taken off the shelf in 1996, she was on that drug. And it killed a lot of people and it hurt a lot of hearts. And she's my mom's still alive today, but she's paying the price of fen-phen and all those other diets and drugs that she was put on for all those years. And of course, I'm her son, not her doctor. So didn't really listen to me in the beginning, but I was giving her poor advice 30 years ago based on what I was trained on, the gender bias, the perspective. But about 15 years ago, I put her on my functional medicine and metabolic repair program, and she has done well since then. Has lost weight. She weighed as much as she went down to her high school weight and kept it there for all those years. But the caveat to that is she's paid the price for fen-phen and had heart valvular disease, and she had all her heart valves and open heart surgery about 4 years ago, and she's paying that price. So gender bias is a real thing. And gender bias is a scary thing because it's being built into our medical system, into our artificial intelligence systems in medicine. And I want to point that out to you because you need to be your own advocate as an aging woman and an aging man. In the aging process, we need to understand that just because something is good for you doesn't mean you need it. And finally, hormones do play a powerful role in managing who you are as a man and a woman as we age. We can't ignore that part, because if we do, then we'll be taking all sorts of medications and supplements that will cause us side effects and problems, and we're ignoring the cause of the root cause of the issues as we age. So hormones, supplements play a role. Gender bias is real, and I am open for questions.
How do we go about getting a workup, and is it extremely expensive if you're not if you don't have insurance with you?
Oh, so that's a good question. So I don't bill insurance, but I do write medical letters of necessity with all the insurance codes that you submit to your insurance company. So I do that in my clinic. We're very good at doing that. And by the way, never accept no as an answer from your insurance company when the first time you present that letter. Always present it twice. And the third time, if they say no again, I can write meaner letters. And I know how to do that. And yes, most insurance companies do cover the labs that I order. And I don't order anything unusual. I just order a complete metabolic panel that includes that magnesium RBC and all the hormones and everything. So insurance usually covers most of the labs. And if you don't have insurance, and there's a lot of my patients that don't have insurance, we do have a relationship with Quest where all the labs, including your hormones, cost about, and I'm giving a roundabout cost here, is around $300 to get the full set of labs. Not everybody needs the full set of labs. So I individualize what I recommend when I order. And if you've had labs from the past, another mistake that us doctors make is we get your labs and we say, this is where you are right now. When in fact, the best way to do it is to look at old labs and follow trends, because trends are far more powerful than single points. So bring all I don't care if it's 10 years old. So it costs around $300 for all the full labs. Think of that as the most you'd pay for labs. An average, about $150 to $200 for labs in general. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions about anything I talked about, supplements, about side effects, about anything?
So I have a question.
What is the chelated form of magnesium called that you mentioned?
Say that one more time.
You mentioned that the chelated form of magnesium is most effective. What is it called? I'm just curious.
Well, there's different kinds. There's some, and this is important. It's not just one chelated form. There's malates and glycinates. There's different kinds. I like the multi-chelated forms because if you think about it, it's not just one thing that affects one thing or everything in your body. It's multiple different things. So I like, there's some, I can show you where to find these things online. I have them at my clinic, of course, but I always tell people, we can show you where to find things online, because when you buy something from a doctor, it's a little more expensive just because they charge us more. But I can show you where to find those types online. New Medica, that's another point to make. I'm glad you asked that. There's not a single company that has everything. That has the right supplements for everything. Not a single company out there. Most over-the-counter supplements are junk, and we know this. This isn't just a theory. This is proven. Remember my theory proof thing?
Right.
We know that most of the over-the-counter stuff is either junk, worthless, or doesn't have everything that it has on there. Even Dr. Andrew Weil got burned with some of his supplements. When I took him to the lab, I showed him that, look, your melatonin actually has 5% of what it says on the bottle. So even people, reliable individuals and sources, can be burned. So what I do is I vet them. I'm part of a group that vets these different supplements, and we test them. And so there's a platform called the Metabolic Code. Here's a good name to write down: Dr. James Lavelle, L-A-V-A-L-L-E. Fantastic. He's a personal friend of mine. Fantastic guy who he's taught me more about how to vet certain supplements. Any supplement that actually works or is effective is either designed by him or stolen from him. He's that person. But anyway, I can show you where to source a lot of these different things. There's a platform called the Metabolic Code that helps vet the different sources for different supplements. Any other questions?
Dr.
Yes,
G?
so I have a question because I work with people who have dementia, and a lot of times they show me the brain supplements that they're taking. And I had a client recently that the brain supplement they were taking was discontinued from Puritan's Pride, which is where they were ordering it from. And it had 450 each of Bacopa and Huperzine A, which have been shown to at least do some sort of protection for healthy brains, not for people with dementia, but in general for healthy brains. But they put me on a task to find the equal amount in another supplement, and I couldn't find it. I mean, I looked everywhere. And they were, so the amounts were 450 mg in each, and it was, seemed like a decent amount. So is there some sort of rule out there, or, I don't know, legal, that a certain amount is consistent in a supplement in order to be labeled, that way? So, because I found a whole bunch of other supplements that had Huperzine A in it and had Bacopa in it, but it was anything from, 200 milligrams to 20 milligrams to 300 milligrams, and nothing with up to 450. But they were all labeled the same. So it was frustrating.
It's very frustrating. And that's you just gave a great example of the lack of the standardization in nutrition. Nutrition is very difficult. Supplements, nutrition, diets are very difficult to study, because in medical studies, we look at one single event, one single point, and we study that point and how it changes other points. Nutrition is 20 different points, right? It's hard to control nutrition and supplement. And one of the other reasons for what you found, it's a great example of all sorts of different things, and especially in the supplement world, is that molecule could be the salt, the chelated form, the salt form, the pure form, the not pure form, the diluted form. You don't know that, and they don't tell you that. Another good example is DHEA, powerful hormone in your body, put out by your adrenal glands, that you can find over the counter. And you can go to GNC, for example, and find DHEA. You can find 100 milligrams of DHEA, and you'll read on Dr. Google that DHA is a great thing to help for weight loss and mood, metabolism, help build your other hormones, helps get you through menopause. You read all these great things about DHEA, especially in women's magazines, the gender bias. You read that DHA helps you lose weight. What they don't tell you over the counter is that DHA is the wrong isomer for the human body that they're selling because it's cheaper to make. And that's how they make more money off it at these over-the-counter places. So they tell you, and they know this. They know it's the wrong isomer. And then you call them out on it. You say, hey, it's the wrong isomer. And they say, yeah, we know that. And then they'll tell you another truth. It's a truth that isomer of that molecule, DHA I'm using as an example, will get converted to the right isomer that the human can use in your body. When you take it, it'll convert. That's true. What they don't tell you is how much will it convert? And are you the same as me? And am I the same as my sister and my mother? Do we all convert the same? It turns out that it's less than 5% of what you're taking DHA to convert. So you have to take the proper DHEA. So it's difficult. And it's I drove myself nuts. I used to, when like I said, I worked at NIH, had a lot of connections after I left NIH. All my connections are gone now. But before then, I used to take all these supplements to NIH and run them through the spectrometer and look and see what's in them. Most of it was just junk or some bad stuff. But it's hard to standardize supplements. So that's what we do in this group in Metabolic Code is we look for standardized and we help you source that. I got to be honest with you, that's a tough one to source. Brain health. It's one of the things that we function in aging, right? It's best to start with the basics. Eating, weight, obesity, eating properly, antioxidants, hormone balance. Those things are the most effective things to help prevent aging. Now, once you develop Alzheimer's, you can't reverse it, but you can slow down or stop the process. So that's a whole, I have a whole 2-hour lecture on brain function and aging. We could talk forever about that. One other thing I want to mention that you brought up about supplements and standardization. You'll see a lot of testosterone boosters, brain boosters, right? A lot of brain boosters, testosterone boosters. And you'll have patients that say, this worked really well for me. My own mother brought me this supplement for a brain booster. She said, this works great for me. It feels so good when I'm on it. Let me just boil this down. I could take a Red Bull. I could make $1 million. I could make $1 million in less than 6 months by taking a Red Bull, putting another molecule in there. I could put a beautiful chelated magnesium in there, and I could rename it. This is Dr. Gonzalez's testosterone booster or brain booster. And you would drink that Red Bull, and what will you feel?
Fun.
Well, pretty good. So we associate that good feeling with that testosterone booster label or that brain booster label, and we think that it's helping our brain or our testosterone. And then we buy more of it. That's how these people make, these companies make so much money and they sell so much. I can make $1 million. Unfortunately, I'm ethical, so I can't do that. But you got to be careful with those types of claims. Any other questions?
What about ginkgo that's being advertised as a brain booster?
Yeah, ginkgo is good. In fact, that was one of the ones I found in Dr. Weil's supplement store that we took it to the lab, and it had a lot of rice powder, and it had not a single molecule of ginkgo biloba in this ginkgo biloba supplement. I'm not disparaging Dr. Weil. He's a personal friend of mine. It's how us doctors can get burned on our own by different companies as well. And he got burned. Ginkgo biloba is actually okay, but the problem with ginkgo biloba is the amount. And that's another concept in supplementation, is the amount and the kind that's taken. Most of those ginkgo biloba supplements that you feel good on have some sort of other molecule in there, either ephedra or something else that gives you a little boost. Caffeine, it gives you a little boost so you start feeling, and it helps with temporary memory improvement. But most of them, unfortunately, are not effective. It's a great molecule, fantastic molecule when taken right. But unfortunately, most of the over-the-counter ones are not good. Metabolic Code, I believe, has one, but I haven't looked at it myself. I haven't taken it to the lab. Any other questions?
Dr. G,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of consumerlabs.com.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your feeling about them?
So
Maybe
Dr. Cooper, Dr. Cooper there at Consumer Labs, he and I have collaborated in different lectures in the past. Consumer Labs is a great source for information. It really is. It's a good source of information. They're a little influenced as well with marketing and money, but they are one of the least influenced. And great. I use them as a source as well for certain things. So I like them. Consumer Labs. She's referring to Consumer Labs. If you go to consumerlabs.com, you'll find Dr. Cooper's. He's initiated that whole project, and they look at supplements and they grade them. They tell them whether it's worth it or not worth it.
I have
okay,
found
Consumer
that
Labs.
I have found them to be very helpful over the years.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we're running out of time. We're going to make introductions now. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Dr. Gonzalez. We learned so much. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, can you time for us? Are you there? There she is. Okay, so just the time, we're just going to give everyone 30 seconds, okay? And Melissa is so kind as to time everyone. We will start with, to my left, Jim Bland.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Bland with Long Baths. We're part of the Long Fence and Home Company. Been around about 75 years. Big company, still family owned and operated. We offer complete bathroom modifications for fall prevention for seniors, as well as home safety assessments, any number of other mobility, fall prevention, accessibility type of things that may be needed in the home. I put my contact information in the chat if anybody wants to save the chat, or please feel free to give me a call at any time or shoot me an email. You can learn more about us at www.longaginginplace.com, longaginginplace.com. And I'm thrilled to be a part of the group. Excellent talk today as well.
Thank you, Jim. Allison, to my right.
Hi, I'm Allison Donati. I'm a massage therapist for seniors. I go to people's homes. I'm currently getting back into work and would appreciate any referrals that you can give me. I also put my information in the chat, and I am in Maryland. I'm also licensed in DC and Virginia, although I only go to fairly close by places there. Otherwise, it's too much driving. Thank you. Appreciate your help.
Excellent. Isla.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Isla Rappaport. I'm a life and wellness coach. I help people develop better relationships with themselves and others. And I'm looking for new clients at this point. One of my groups are seniors, and very excited to connect with people in this way. And my contact information is in the chat.
Excellent. Joe Sperling.
Good morning, everyone. I'm your protectionist. I help you protect what's important in your lives. Protect your families with life insurance, protect your incomes with disability insurance, protect your assets with long-term care coverage. And I do so virtually painlessly. I don't provide supplements. I'll leave that up to Dr. G, but I'll give you good advice. And I'm not your average Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Michael Mooney, you're on mute.
Yeah, I just learned. Thank you. Yeah, Mike Mooney with Pilot Financial, and yeah, I'm getting used to taking the mute button off quickly there. Anyway, I've been in business for over 30 years. We work with a lot of small business owners in the area in the retirement planning world, 401ks and simple IRAs. Great time to think about that now with tax planning coming in the next couple months. And then we have a financial planning practice, been in business for over 30 years, very financial goal oriented based. And we had our best year ever last year. A lot of clients came from other, from advisors, other advisors, that weren't really paying attention during the pandemic. So for expert advice, take me to the pilot is my tagline. Thanks.
Sandy? Sandy? You're talking to the
Good
mute.
morning. Good morning. Sandy LeBlanc with Caldwell Banker Realtor, licensed in Maryland and DC. I am senior real estate specialist certified with the National Association of Realtors. And I help guide people in selling and buying their homes, but for us, I would like to help seniors transition to a smaller place.
Excellent. Gauri?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Gauri Chandy. I'm the owner of HomeWatch Caregivers. We provide compassionate in-home care to individuals of all ages and of all levels, from companion all the way to skilled nursing. And we serve Montgomery County. My information is in the chat. And thanks for the wonderful talk today. Appreciate it.
Nice to have you here. We'll move on to Ellen.
Good morning, everyone. Ellen Davis. I am President and Chief Insurance Geek at Life Health Home Insurance Group. We specialize in life, health, Medicare supplement, long-term care, disability in multiple states. You know, our tagline is, remember that life happens and we're here to help you prepare for it. My information's in the chat. I also wrote a little note as Dr. G was talking regarding how do you get your visit to Dr. G and the tests paid for. Make sure that you understand what your health insurance actually is so that you know how to approach it, and you work with Dr. G and his office. Will it be covered? Will it not be covered, and at what level? And if you know and you have true expectations before you go in, you won't get upset with Dr. G. You'll be happier with him. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. I'm happy to answer questions, even if I'm not your broker. Ellen Davis, Life Health Home Insurance Group. Thank you.
Thank you. Nora?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Nora Gamboa. I'm with Small Biz Books and Accounts. I'm the owner. In Fairfax, Virginia, I focus on small businesses and provide accounting and tax services. I also can help you set up your accounting records, train, and make you self-sufficient. Nora Gamboa, Small Biz Books and Accounts. Thank you.
Thank you. Erin?
Hi, I'm Erin Pickrell, Director of Griswold Home Care in Bethesda, and we provide non-nursing medical care to those who want to stay safe in their homes.
Excellent. Pam?
Hi, I'm Pamela Mills, owner of Enriching Connections. I am a person-centered dementia care specialist, and I focus on care organization exclusively for people living with dementia to help them live well with dementia and succeed wherever they are, all ages, all stages, whether they're in their own home or in an assisted living. I can provide consultation, staff training, solutions for everything from adjustment and behavioral communication issues to finding the right caregiver for you, making referrals to other services, as well as provide daily enrichment for your loved one. So enrichingconnections.org. And I can also do classes. So if you have caregivers, CNAs, GNAs, home health aides that would like to be certified as certified dementia practitioners, reach out to me and I can do a class for you.
It's a great class.
Melissa?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Melissa Koppel with Community Angels Nursing Services. I am also a certified dementia practitioner. Thank you so much, Pamela Mills. We provide skilled and companion care at home. We have affordable rates. We accept Medicaid waiver, and we serve all in Maryland. My information is in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Ashmont, let's hear from you.
Hey, morning, everybody. Eric Ashmont, financial advisor with Edward Jones. Just relocated the office down in Bethesda now. And I've got an awesome job. I get to sit and work with individuals and families on basically what's important to them, what are their goals, what are their wants, what are their needs, then coming up with tailored plans and partnering with them throughout life so they stay on track. It's nice to be back. Nice to see so many familiar faces. Dr. G, thank you for the presentation, and nice to see some new faces as well.
Nice. Marcia.
I remember to unmute. Hi, I'm Marcia Schwartz. I'm an audiologist. My husband calls me an audiologist in transition. I've been working in the field for over 40 years, working mostly with seniors, and my main passion in terms of my profession is to help people understand their hearing issues, working with them to get adjusted to their hearing loss, their hearing aids. And if you know anybody who needs help with that, you can get in touch with me. Thanks. It was a great talk today.
Terrific. Emily?
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily O'Halloran with Medicare Portal. We are a group of independent Medicare insurance agents serving the Mid-Atlantic and beyond. So we work with our clients to first help them understand Medicare. And from that Medicare education piece, we just kind of transition into enrollment, and we help them enroll in the Medicare insurance products that are right for them. So we do Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, and standalone Part D plans. And I only work with Medicare. So that is kind of my favorite thing. But it's great to see you all this morning. And thank you for the wonderful presentation, Dr. G.
Tariq?
My name is Tariq Marshall. I'm with Oasis Senior Advisors. We work with families and clients to find assisted living communities, memory care communities. Our services are free. So any referrals that come to us, we don't charge clients anything, but we do the work. We work with folks in Medicaid, Medicare, all the way up to millionaires. So we work with low income all the way up to millionaire folks as well. So we're able to serve everyone. And thanks for Dr. G for a great presentation today. Really, really knowledgeable.
Thank you. Georgette?
Good morning. Hi, I'm Georgette Lake with Tribute at Black Hill Assisted Living and Memory Care in Germantown. I'm glad to meet everyone. I know a couple of people in the room, and I'm assisted living and memory care, but I'm looking to network. I'm new in the industry, and I would love to connect with everyone. I put my information in the chat box, and I'm launching a small one today, which is called WOW Networking Events for us in the senior living industry. And it's going to be a wine tasting event. So please contact me, and so I can add you to my contacts so I can invite you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kim?
Hi, I'm Kim Lipinski with Elder Nourish. We have all custom menus for our clients. We can accommodate any food preferences, any kind of special diets, medical diets. We work with dietitians and medical professionals to get the right food to you. Our meals are cooked in a commercial kitchen, fresh and delivered. And we serve the DMV. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Michael?
Thanks, Sabrina. Good day. I'm your target market. I represent seniors. And the odd part about it is none of you talk to me or my seniors. Presently, I'm looking for resources for seniors, number one, without internet access, and there's a large portion out there. And number two, seniors who don't have real great computer skills. I've taken this cause to the local organizations and municipalities and officials, and I actually have an appointment with a state senator to possibly take this to the level of the state of Illinois. So if you guys are interested, give me a jingle or connect with me. And if you want to expand past the East Coast, let me know about it. Thanks. Thanks, Sabrina, and thanks for the great presentation today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Sabrina and Meryl, for holding this amazing bowl that you make happen every month. Fantastic. I always enjoy learning new things from the colleagues, and it just goes so fast. I'm really impressed. I'm with Assisting Hands Home Care. We're the concierge company in Bethesda that provides home care for all of our families, and we do it with a smile. And we do it very specifically for each client. So please give us a call with any kind of interest at all, because honestly, there's so much information out there. And we work with all of our other colleagues. Melissa and I have worked together, and our buddy Mark. You know, it's a big wide world out here, and it helps to support each other in all we do. Kim and I have been working on a project, and it's just a delight to be able to reach out. I've booked Allison for some massages. This group has really become a powerhouse of information and support, and it's thanks to you guys. Dr. G, if you're still on, great presentation. Looking forward to learning more about his practice. And again, as I put in the chat, we have book chat coming up on Monday afternoon. We're still providing 4 free educational programs for our colleagues and our community. And this month's book chat is about global warming, and it's based on Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, and it's written by a local author. His name is Tim Truitt, and it's haiku and photographs that sort of combine to create this visual learning experience. So please join me. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Let's move on to Letitia. Are you there? Hello, Letitia? She's on mute and we can't see her. Okay, so I have a second page here. Let's see, who did I miss? Daphne?
Good morning, I'm Daphne with Angels of Elder Care Planning. Our focus is elder care planning for seniors across the entire state of Maryland. We work primarily with the middle class to help those who can't afford the big, high, expensive law firms. And we help their loved ones get onto the Maryland Medical Assistance Program when they enter into nursing homes. It's a very daunting process with 5 years of bank records, and takes a good 6 months or so just to get on the program. So we support our families and do all the paperwork and help them with the finances so that they can follow the law properly and get their benefits. We also do pre-planning for our elders as well. So if they're starting to slow down and thinking about downsizing or going to assisted living, we help them position things now so that they can protect assets later and leave a little inheritance to their children. But again, primarily it's medical assistance throughout the entire state of Maryland, and give me a call if you need help.
Thank you, Daphne. Let's go on to, let's see, did okay, I think I forgot. Who's on the cell phone, the 410 cell phone? Is that George?
The 853 number?
Yes.
Sabrina, that's me. I'm having trouble with my computer audio, so I had a phone in.
Oh, okay. So you want to
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on. I got to call my IT guy because my computer audio isn't working properly, so I had a phone in.
Oh, okay. Do you want to introduce yourself?
It's Daphne again.
No, but I heard your voice.
I know. I don't know why I came up twice. I have my regular login through Zoom on my computer, but then it put me up a second time when I had a phone in.
Never mind.
Sorry, you get double me today.
No worries. Okay. Is Ada there?
Yes, I'm sorry I was late today and I can't really be on camera right now. I just have a lot going on in the background, but thank you so much for this great presentation. And I'm with Life Matters Care Management Company. We provide enhanced care coordination and healthcare advocacy for seniors who are alone or whose families are unable to support them. I have my information in the chart. Looking to connect. Hey, Meryl, good to see you.
You too, Ada.
And Georgette as well. Just great to see all the people I've seen before, and everyone stay safe and dry today.
Excellent. So did I miss anyone?
I guess I'm next.
Oh, wait. Meryl.
Okay. I'm Meryl Schaefer, and the first thing I want to say is Dr. G has really helped keep me alive and kicking because the regular medical system does not help me totally. So I'm just so grateful for this. Anyway, my business is TLC, Daily Money Mentor. And what I do is take the agony and frustration away from those who cannot or will not pay their own bills, organize their records, fill out their tax organizer at the end of the year. And I have 2 lines this time. One, Meryl will keep you out of peril and Schaefer will keep your records safer. And I'm a girl watcher. I'm the girl that watches over everything like a cloud and makes sure that nothing goes awry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then I'll introduce myself. I am your co-host, Sabrina. And my husband and I own and operate Mike's Locksmith and Security. We serve Virginia, Maryland, and DC. We help seniors and small businesses and just about anybody stay safe in their homes and in their businesses. So just a reminder, save the chat, connect with people that attended the meeting. Our next meeting is on April 14th, and we are going to have Marcia speak to us. And we really look forward to that. And look out for the next meeting notices going through. Delivering to your inboxes. And also we have a Facebook group for Senior Services Alliance. Please join it, and then you can connect with people and post things there. So nice to see everyone. Happy Easter and happy Passover to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.